Hi, Carlos Martin here with Good People Realty along with Jeff Lieberman from Expert Mortgage. And a lot of times I get the questions from buyers is what happens after we apply for a loan?
John, I get that question all the time as well. Getting a mortgage, especially these days, can be a complicated process. There's a lot of steps involved from start to finish, which is why it's important that you're working with professionals that know what they're doing. You don't want the ball to get dropped somewhere in between that ends up causing a delay in closing, or worse, you're not even getting a loan.
And just, a few years back when the whole boom and the whole foreclosure happens, it was very easy to get a loan. I mean, you could just basically say you made X amount and they would just call a family member or somebody you said was your employer. Hey, does this person work here? Yeah. Does he make this? Yeah. You're good for a loan. I mean, it was even easier than that. So, the guidelines have changed tremendously. Now to get a loan, everything needs to be, correct and in order. So it's a lot different than what it was before. And for a good thing, now you don't see as much foreclosures. You don't see people getting in trouble. It's the way it was before the whole foreclosure boom. And, it's a good thing. So what else happens in that process?
Definitely it's a more common sense approach to underwriting is what I like to say. As you mentioned, those days before, I mean, they might have been great for anybody in the mortgage and real estate industry, but not so great for people who got into loans that they couldn't qualify for and ended up losing their home. So now everything does have to be verified. And with me, it starts at that very first conversation I have with the client. Now, this may be before they've even spoken to you, before they started looking for a house. We want to make sure they're going to get approved for financing. So I have conversations with them. I fully vet them, review all of their income documents, asset, credit report. I ask the necessary questions to make sure that this person's going to qualify for a mortgage. So when I call you and say, hey, John Smith is good for qualifying, all you have to do is find them a house. And they don't have to worry, are they going to get approved for financing?
Right.
So it definitely starts there. Now, once they go out and they find that home, we've already done the legwork. We've already done the background. We know they're going to get approved for financing. So once they're under contract, we prepare all the loan paperwork that they have to sign. We get the file approved through underwriting. Again, a very simple process because we've already done the pre-approval on our end. Do the appraisal, do the inspections, and then shortly after that, they're ready for closing.
And when you say inspection and appraisal, and I like to let buyers know that I do certain things in an order and for them to save money. And what I mean by that is, the inspection is the first thing we do. We don't order the appraisal right after. And the reason why is if there's an issue with the inspection, we cancel that property right there. We don't jump into the appraisals. I've seen agents sometimes do the appraisal first, then the inspection, and then you're down $1,000 for doing it in that order. So it's important to do things in the right order to save the buyer money. And at the same time, it's very important to get qualified correctly because the last thing we want is for you to find a house you like and then you don't qualify. And the seller is upset. The realtor's upset because they're driving around wasting their time, and the buyer is going to be upset because they're, in the mindset that they were getting a property and they're not. So it's so important to do it correctly with someone that knows, that tells you you're fully approved and you're good to go. And it just creates confidence when we submit the offer, when we speak to the selling agent, and also to the buyer to know, hey, shortly in 30 days or 35 days, you're going to have your home.
Yeah, it's true. I have so many stories that I've heard from buyers who went with the wrong mortgage company, where they were told they were approved or pre-approved. They went out with their realtor, they spent 2 months looking for a home, they got so excited, they get under contract, and they go back to the mortgage person who tells them something like, oh, I didn't realize you have a bankruptcy. I mean, that should never happen. It shouldn't. Again, if you do the steps right as a mortgage professional, and you check everything in the beginning, including running their credit, I mean, that's kind of the most important thing, then those situations will never come up. And then you can say to somebody with 100% confidence, this person will get approved for financing. You just have to find them a house. You find them a house, everything falls into place. But unfortunately, I still, even to this day, hear horror stories like that all the time from people who went with the wrong company.